Good afternoon, everyone. In the absence of the Mayor, I'm the Acting Mayor and will be chairing today's meeting. A webcast of this meeting will be published to Council's website at www.liverpoolplains.newsouthwales.gov.au so that it is available for viewing by members of the public. The acknowledgement of country and prayer, Councillor Jason Allen.
Thank you, Mayor. Acting Mayor. Today we gather on the land of the Kamilaroi Nation. We therefore need to acknowledge the traditional owners and the custodians of this land. We also pay our respects to the Aboriginal elders, both past and present, and further extend that respect to other elders who have joined us today. Council prayer. Lord, we ask that you watch over this council, guide us in our deliberation and decisions for the betterment of all the people of our Shire and Australia. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Allen. Apologies and applications for a leave of absence by councillors. The recommendation, the leave of absence from Councillor Doug Hawkins, OAM, and the apology from Councillor Wynne be received and accepted. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councillor Miles, do I have a seconder?
Second.
Councillor Cohen. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? All in favour? Against? Carried. Minutes of the council meeting held on the 27th of March 2024. The recommendation that the minutes of the council meeting held on the 27th of March 2024 be received and the recommendations therein be adopted. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Lawson. Seconder? Councillor Allen. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? All in favour? Against? Carried. Disclosures of interest. Are there any councillors wishing to disclose any conflicts of interest in matters under consideration at the ordinary meeting in accordance with Part 4 and Part 5 of the Code of Conduct?
Deputy Mayor, I think I may have an interest in 6.14 Annex C in regards to the road closures for Anzac Day, as I was the submitter of the West Street sub-branch's application for road closures.
Do you want to is that
I think you're just declaring an interest. You're not. It's not pecuniary.
No,
it's just noting that. Yep.
Interest.
So we just noted that. Yep.
Thank you, Councillor Miles. The mayoral minute for March 2024. The council receive and note the mayoral minute for March 2024. Do I have a mover? Mayor's not here. Councillor Cohen, seconder, please. Councillor Allen. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, all in favour? Against? Carried. Executive Services Report for March 2024. The recommendation that Council receive and note the Executive Services Report for March 2024. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Miles. Seconder, please. Councillor Cohen. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, all in favour? Against? Motion carried. Resolutions Register Update. The recommendation that Council receive and note the Resolutions Register as at the 10th of April 2024, appended Annexure A, and the Resolution Register for 2022 and 2023 as appended at Annexure B. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Cohen, a seconder, please.
Thank you.
Councillor Allen, does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Jeremy.
I've just got a couple of questions in relation to, one's to the resolution 2024-17. Mentions, I think, submissions, whether there's been any submissions on the draft inclusion plan or not at this point in time. And the other is in relation to 2024-21, the Heritage Motel, whether there's any update on whether the owner has responded at this point in relation to those matters.
Thank you. Councillor Manager?
I can certainly answer the query in relation to the inclusion plan. Yes, there were some submissions, and in today's business paper there's a report that addresses that matter, and perhaps Mr. Smith can talk to the other matter you raised.
Through Mr. Mayor, so with regards to 2024/21, to date, I don't believe we've had a finalisation of it, but we have had constructive conversations with the owner, and we're working through it.
Is anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, all in favour? Against? Carried. We'll have to 6.2. 6.2. What?
6.3.
Corporate and Community Services Directorate Report, March 2024. The recommendation that Council receive and note the Corporate and Community Services Directorate briefing for March 2024 as detailed in this report. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Lawson. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Miles. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion? No. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Allen.
Just in regards to the military tattoo night, afternoon and night was a great success, and highly commend everyone for putting a great night in, the Brookline Shire and the event coordinators. I think it went down a treat, and I look forward to it again next year, so thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Allen. If no one else wants to speak for or against the motion, all in favour? Against? Carried. 6.4, presentation of the audited financial statements and auditor's report for 2022-2023. The recommendation that Council note the presentation of the audited financial statements for the year ended 30th of June 2023, an independent auditor's report contained at Annexure A to the public pursuant to the section 419(1) of the Local Government Act of 1993. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Cohen. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Allen. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Councillor Cohen.
Only to note the effort that was put in by the staff to get us to the final scene. We had a hold up in relation to the financials being lodged and filed. I think that they've done a good job to get it done with the time period that they were given, and also to comment on the favourable movement in our ratios for finance and various things. I think that they indicate that hopefully we are on the right track and improving our situation in the overall. So I'd just like to congratulate staff and recommend that anybody in the public who wish to have a good look at these financials, that they do so, because I think that it's a movement in the right direction by the good players. Thank you.
Thank Thank you, councillor Cohen. Does anyone else wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Miles.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I think it's a great report. I'm wondering if I might be able to get some clarity on the value or the non-value of the dam. There seems to be something in this report about us having to value the dam, and it was held up by our external auditors till we did that. It's not clear in this report what was finalised, so I'm just wondering where we're up to with that as an asset. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Mr. Skilly, you want to respond to that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so the issue with the dam was the auditors required a qualified valuer to undertake the valuation of the dam. So we undertook a revaluation of all of our water and sewer assets, and obviously the dam forms part of that, given it's used a relatively complex structure that required an independent valuation to be undertaken on that. So that was where the delay was. So council have been working on our own internal valuation for it, which was not accepted, the indication was it would not be accepted by the auditors, so then we went to an external valuer, got that completed, and the value of the dam to reconstruct was in the order of 50 million, and the current written down value from recollection is about 36 from recollection, but I don't have those figures right in front of me.
Thank you, Mr. Scully. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you very much. So no one else, does anyone else want to speak for or against the motion? So, all in favour? Against? Motion carried. Point 5, Statement of Investments for March 2024. The recommendation that Council receive and note the Statement of Investments as of the 31st of March 2024 as appended to Annexure A. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Miles, seconder. Councillor Cohen. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion? Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, all in favour? Against? Carried. 6.6, the Public Exhibition Draft Operational Plan 2024 to 2025, Draft Fees and Charges Schedule 2024-2025, and Draft Long-Term Financial Plan 2024 to 2035. The recommendation that Council, number 1, place the Draft Operational Plan 2024 to 2025 appended to Annexure A on public exhibition for a period of 28 days. Number 2, place the Draft Fees and Charges Schedule 2024-2025 appended to Annexure B on public exhibition for a period of 28 days. Number 3, place the draft of long-term financial plan 2024 to 2034 appended at Annexure C on public exhibition for a period of 28 days. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Allen. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lawson. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Miles.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Probably the only thing is I'd like to ask why these three are put together in one recommendation and they haven't been separated for discussion as such. They're quite complex documents, and to have three put into one like this with a recommendation, I'm just wondering why that was done. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
I think the reason is just convenience for us in terms of pulling the document together. There's certainly nothing in the way that it's structured that prevents councillors from talking to individual items and making changes or proposing amendments to what we've recommended here. But it's important to sort of understand that we've got a deadline of the last council meeting in June to adopt our fees and charges, to adopt our operational plan and budget. And these documents will go out on public exhibition for 28 days. We will hopefully receive submissions. We will assess those submissions, come back to council with some advice on those submissions, workshop that with the council, and the council can make determinations as to whether to make changes to these documents. So this is, in a sense, as you know, we've been working behind the scenes, councillors and staff, to get us to this point. This is now where we're going out to the public and taking their feedback and their input into the documents, and that this is just that first step of that public process. And we can certainly present these documents next time when they come back as separate items, and that will then allow very specific conversation about particular matters. So we'll take the point.
Thank you, Mr. Frost. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. That was my point.
Sorry.
Have got Councillor Lawson.
Just speaking for the motion again, just pointing out we're not adopting these plans and fees and charges schedule is going out on public exhibition for 28 days. There has, like the acting GM was saying, already been a significant amount of work behind the scenes, and workshopping. There's already been some changes made to the fees and charges before it's the one that's in the paper today. And if anyone does have any comments or submissions, to please put them in. And also for any user groups, although I understand most of those have only gone up with CPI, that this next 28 days is the time, if they have any concerns or queries over that, to put those in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lawson. If there's no one else wanting to speak for or against the motion, I'll put the motion to the floor. All in favour? Against? Carried. The draft unreasonable conduct policy. The recommendation that Council, number one, place the draft unreasonable conduct policy appended at Annexure A on public exhibition for a period of 28 days and adopt the draft policy as exhibited, subject to no submissions being received. Number two, request a further report at the conclusion of the public exhibition period if submissions are received. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Miles. Second, please. Councillor Lawson. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I don't want to be unreasonable.
No comment. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Lawson.
I just wanted to clarify what the actual changes were. It just says that it's removed, replace the reference to complainant with members of the public. So I was just wondering if that's the only main change in detail, or if we could just have an explanation of any other changes with that policy sort of currently is. Thank you.
General Manager, please.
Yes, the major change does relate to broadening the unreasonable conduct to beyond complainants. We had an issue last year with a member of the public who was behaving in a way that we felt was unreasonable. His argument was that he's not a complainant, so this policy doesn't apply. So we've broadened that out because people can interact with staff in a particular way that's whether they're a complainant or not, that may have impact on their health and well-being. There may be people who interact with council in a way that diverts us from doing our sort of day job, so to speak, and putting unreasonable expectations on resources and all those sorts of things. So it is about a whole gamut of things that we're trying to prevent, and just enabling us to manage people who are being unreasonable and have unreasonable expectations.
Thank you.
So, if there's no one else to speak for or against the motion, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. The draft statements of business ethics. The recommendation of council, number one, place the draft statement of business ethics appended at Annexure A on public exhibition for a period of 28 days and adopt the draft statement as exhibited, subject to no submissions being received. Number two, request a further report at the conclusion of the public exhibition period if submissions are received. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Lawson. And a seconder, please. Councillor Knowles. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All in favour? Against? Carried. 6.9, Community Funding Program, Round 2 of 23-24. The recommendation of Council 1, approve the following grant applications. The Springlands Country Club, $1,000. Whereas Creek Rugby League Football Club, $1,000. Grindai Polo Club, $1,000. Grindai CWA, $1,000. Grindai Tennis Club, $1,000. Grindai RSL Golf Club, $750. Grindai Show Society, $1,000. Grindai Historical Society, $1,250. Currabubula Red Cross Art Show, $1,000. And the Liverpool Plains Business Chamber, $1,000. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Lawson, seconder, please. Councillor Cowan. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion? Councillor.
I was just on some clarification. I noticed there that there was some submission from the Grindai Motorcycle Club, and it said that the budget for the project had an operating deficit of $5,000, so it wasn't considered viable. I was just wondering, is that because they intended to contribute that amount to the project, and does that not meet our requirements if the organisation does that, or was there some other reason? Did they not provide the way that they were going to make up that deficit?
General Manager, please.
Can I refer that to Ms. Mead?
The budget indicated an operating deficit of $5 million. In the income stream, it didn't indicate that they were using any of their own funds to match that, or to make the project a break-even project. And one of our things is we make sure that projects are viable, so we wouldn't invest in a project that was going to run a significant deficit like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
You happy, Councillor Lawson?
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion to the floor. All in favour?
Sorry. Do I need to clarify?
Against? Carried. Thank you. Inclusion Plan, 6.10, Inclusion Plan of 2024 to 2026. The recommendation the Council adopt the Inclusion Plan of 2024 to 2026 as appended at Annexure A. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Allen, seconder, please. Councillor Cowan. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak for or against the motion? If not, I would like to put the motion to the floor. All in favour? Against? Carried. The Local Advisory Group, the recommendation of Council, number one, receive and note the minutes of the Currabubula Local Advisory Group as appended at Annexure A. And number two, receive and note the minutes of the Prima Local Advisory Group as appended at Annexure B. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Allen. And seconder, please. Councillor Lawson. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion to the floor. All in favour? Against? Carried. 6.12, Infrastructure Environmental Services Directorate Report, March 2024. The recommendation that council, one, receive and note the Infrastructure and Environmental Services Directorate report for the month of March 2024. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Cohen, seconder, please. Councillor Lawson. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion? Councillor Cohen.
Mr Mayor, Acting Mayor, I just got a bit of interest in the Station Street upgrades in relation to the blisters and things. At the time of the planning and the plans were drawn for those blisters, was the traffic committee consulted, and did they have to pass those blisters as to where they are and how far they actually extend across the road? I do notice that very difficult for some vehicles to get round that blister as you come down into Dudley Street around Station Street. They're crossing into the other path of oncoming traffic. I just wonder whether it was all properly approved and through the traffic committee and everything else before they were designed.
General Manager?
Yeah, Mr Skelly.
Through you, Mr Mayor. The plans did go to the traffic committee. The traffic committee's role isn't so much to approve the specific design of blisters, so their role was more around signage layout and things like that, where they had a requirement to approve that, but the plans were put through the traffic committee back in, I can't remember exactly when it was, but they did go through the traffic committee as part of that, yes.
You happy, Councillor Cohen?
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Councillor Miles.
Councillor Miles.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I can't let it go by without asking about the Webb Street Industrial Precinct. It states here that the assessment of tenders is in progress. I'm sure we're a bit further past that from the information that we've received on this. I think we're past that and there's problems of funding. So I'd like these payments to be updated for that matter, because we're not assessing tenders. We don't have the money to do the project. So I don't believe that's a correct description from what the councillors have been told as to where we're up to with that particular project. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
General Manager, would you like to reply?
We'll just take that on notice, and thank you.
Anyone else speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion to the floor. All in favour? Against? Carried. Town 6.13, Town Water Supply Status. The recommendation of Council, one, receive and note the Town Water Supply Status Report. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Cohen. Seconder, please. Councillor Allen. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, Mr Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion to the floor. All in favour? Against? Carried. 6.14, the local traffic committee meeting of March 2024. The recommendation of Council, one, note the traffic control arrangements for Anzac Day 2024. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Allen. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Cohen. Does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, put to the floor. All in favour? Against? Carried. 6.15, the DA 2023 /036-1095 Warra Ridge Road, 8 layer sheds. Recommendation of Council, grant development consent to development application 36/2023 pursuant to section 4.16 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act of 1979, subject to conditions in Schedule 1. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Allen. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Miles, does the mover wish to speak to the motion?
No, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Lawson.
I just note that in the submissions there, the main concerns are around the impact on the groundwater, talking about 30 megalitre approximate usage, which I understand they have a licence for, but I'm assuming has not been used in recent times. And the other was around odour, and one of them asking to be given the same notifications, and then it looks like that was done. I was just wondering around the water side of things, whether that's something that council can actually consider, or whether that all comes under the regulatory body for water. The other concerns were around Inverkip Road. Now, the entrance for this development is going to be off Warra Ridge Road, but I believe there's some concerns about whether Inverkip Road would be used to access from the south. So I was wondering if there was any restrictions over that, or how we're planning to deal with that, whether we're specifying how they're accessing the site. Because obviously it's a dirt road that can fall into disrepair if there's lots of truck movements and that going through there. Also, during the construction phase, whether Inverkip Road's going to be used, or whether that would be Warra Ridge Road in that case. Because the upgrade of sealing the first 30 metres isn't required until just for the occupational certificate, so not necessarily until the end of the construction phase. So yeah, just wondering if the traffic movements have been considered for the construction phase as well. Sorry, there's about 3 questions in there.
Been relevant, refer that to Nathan. Let's discuss.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So with regards to the water, council's only obligation is to ensure that they have a suitable supply. So they've provided evidence that they have licences for it. So from council's perspective, they have demonstrated they have adequate water supply for that solution. So I know the submission's got concerns around that. That's not something that's within council's remit, and that's where Water New South Wales have to come in for management of the licensing. Regarding Inverkip Road, there is a condition of consent that requires them to access from the north. So they are not allowed to access from Inverkip Road, and I think it's Warra Ridge Road that also heads down to Warra. So they're not allowed to access from that way. There will be traffic that will go along Inverkip Road from the from the rearing shed that has been previously approved. There will be traffic that goes from that one to these sheds, but broader traffic for the operations of that are not permitted to come from the south along Inverkip Road. Then regarding construction traffic, there's requirements through construction to minimise dust as far as practicable on your land anyway, so that is covered in just general rules that are available for construction work.
Thank you.
Happy, Councillor?
Yeah.
No, mate. Is there anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, we need a show of hands for this. All in favour, please?
Record of division.
So I read our names of them. Councillor Miles, how do you vote? Well, Councillor Miles, how do you vote?
In favour?
Councillor Lawson? And Councillor Cohen?
In favour.
Councillor Owen? In favour? So, everyone's in favour? So against? There's no one, so the motion is carried. Done and dusted. Number 7, delegates report. There is no delegates report. Notice of motions, questions with notice. There is nil. Confidential matters. The recommendation that council considers the confidential report listed below in a meeting closed to the public in accordance with section 10A(2) of the Local Government Act of 1993. 9.1, RFT 090/2023 Crindai Aquatic Centre. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 10A brackets 2 dash D brackets I brackets of the Local Government Act, and the council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, prejudice the commercial position of the person who supplied it. So we have a mover to go into confidential. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Lawson. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Miles. All in favour? Against? Carried.
That's very.
So,
Good to go.
it's good to go.
Report on confidential matters. The acting mayor reported as follows on the matters considered in the confidential section of the meeting. 9.1 RFT 090/2023 Corindi Aquatic Centre. The recommendation that council award the contract for tender 090/2023 Corindi Aquatic Centre to Bow Corp Projects Pty Limited for the sum of $6,994,518 inclusive of GST, subject to variation. The resolution was carried. The meeting closed at 4 o'clock. Thank you.
Can you explain all that news to me?